Phil Perry's here. Hi, Phil.
Hey, boys.
What's
How are we
going
doing
on?
today? Everybody feeling good?
Feel good.
How could you not? How could you not feel good?
It's exciting times in Foxborough, Beetle. There's a buzz. There's a crisp in the air. There's a buzz in the region.
It was the first time in a long time that it felt like the Patriots were the Patriots last night. It was. The stadium was lit. It was lit.
The place was humming.
It was humming. The crowd was into it. And my only wish was that it were a better opponent that they had, because I think the crowd kind of knew what the expectation was for the game. They understood the assignment. The team did. And that was, all right, it's the Jets and we'll beat them here. And I never felt like the Patriots were going to lose that game. I feel like they were in control from the jump, that anything they needed to do in that game to win, they would have done. It was never really in doubt.
But you know what? I think it's worth not glossing over that fact.
Oh, it's important for
right?
sure. Yeah.
Because it's Thursday night. It's a division game. Weird things happen. But it's prime time, and they were ready. You know, I give Mike Vrabel and his staff a lot of credit. I think this is a game where, and he doesn't want credit. He's always crediting others, and I think that's a huge credit to him being Mike Vrabel. But I think this was a Mike Vrabel effect kind of game, because when you talk about mindset and being on your details and even recovery, how they handled the week and the few days leading up to the game, all of that falls under the head coach's purview, and then they play the way they played. To Beatle's point, it was really in control all the way through. They had 2 penalties. They had 0 turnovers. That was a clean football game. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty damn clean for a Thursday night football game. And so I give the staff and Vrabel at the top a lot of credit for the way they looked.
A lot of meetings, a lot of walkthroughs, a lot of mental game approach this past week, because you got to take care of them physically. And now they're going to get a little bit of a break, and they should be a little rejuvenated coming in for Cincinnati week and be buttoned up.
And again, they were buttoned up. I'm having a hard time getting over that fact. This was a mature professional win for a team that was thrown together this past offseason. For a coach who's in his first year with the program, for a quarterback who's still young in his first year in the offense. And that was just a businesslike, mature NFL win on Thursday.
It was the best Thursday night game since they started a Thursday night game here that I can remember. Like, you had the Jacoby Brissett one where he played when Jimmy went and that was one. That was kind of a neat one, but the other ones were just really boring get-through games. This game had buzz, and it was exciting. There's some big plays in the game, and the opportunity to make big plays. And your guy Henderson played really well. I heard you at post-game, and Fred and Wallach disagreed with you heavily. They didn't think he was that great. Thought he was meh. Disagreed
with me heavily? That's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I thought he was good, because even though the numbers, like the volume numbers, you probably look at it, 3.3 yards per carry. That's not great. He had 70 yards after contact. He had 62 yards total. So he had more yards, meaning he's hit often enough behind the line of scrimmage, and he's creating enough. He forced 9 missed tackles in this game between his work as a runner and as a receiver. So I know the volume numbers weren't there, and so if you look at it and say, ho-hum, no big deal, that's fine. I just look at those numbers. I look at the touchdown runs in particular. You know, both of those are, you got a nose for the end zone types of runs. I mean, that first one, there were multiple Jets bodies like in the Patriots backfield that he had to avoid out in space. He makes 2 miss, and then he ends up getting shoved in for the touchdown.
I'm not even sure he needed the shove, by the way. He might have had it on his own. He may have had it on his own.
Yeah, he wasn't going down.
I sort of like what the shove represents.
I do too, but if you watch it again.
And clearly they like that too. He had to cover a good 2-3 yards there, but maybe you're right. Maybe he would have had it. I do like the way he finishes runs. He had one where he put his helmet right in someone's sternum, and finished for another couple yards. And so
the safety Adams, he ran his ass over.
It wasn't the Tampa game.
What does this mean? What does this mean for Ramondre Stevenson when healthy?
I still think you go back to the roles as previously scheduled.
Right there. Oh, right there.
That's what I would do. I mean, Ramondre is a big time blocking back. He can really help in that regard.
Well, and I just don't think Travion Henderson is going to last all that long if you give him 24 touches a week. Right? That's where he was last night. That's got to be a season high for him.
In your face.
So I think if you can just get Travion Henderson, even if it's a smaller workload, but you can get him with a little bit more confidence because of what he's done these last couple of weeks, to me, you could end up seeing some nice dividends there, and you could have a good complement in your stable of running backs with, sort of a thunder and lightning kind of effect the way they have in Detroit right now.
Okay, I'm on board with that. But this did represent a short week, division opponent, all that weird stuff. I get it, and it didn't feel like the Patriots needed to put anything close to their best game onto the field to be in control and win. Not a minor thing. It's an important thing. And Drake May continues to be ridiculous. Does he not?
The MVP chants are, I think, oftentimes not deserved, no matter what the sport or what the situation. I feel like they're deserved the way he looks at times. He completed 75% of his passes. I think it easily could have been around 90. I counted 3 drops. I don't know how you count the Mac Hollins one. Deep down the field, it ends up getting poked away, but it's in his hands.
That was broken up. Yeah.
But, to me, you get 2 hands on it. It's a nice play by the defensive back. Stephon Diggs had a couple that should have been catches that were not. He had a couple of miscommunications with Kyle Williams, which I put on Kyle Williams. I do not put that on Drake May. But that's 5 throws right there. And if you want to include the one that gets batted at the line as not really being necessarily his fault. But, you could look at it. He easily could have completed 30 or 31 of his 34 attempts. And he was dialed in. Again, on a short week where maybe there's some blind spots in your game plan, right? There's some blind spots in terms of your preparation for sure, in terms of being able to practice whatever it is you wanted to run at full speed during the week. And he still comes out and he's dialed in. He completed his first 11 passes. It's one of the reasons why, and I don't know if you guys have hit on this yet today, I really question the way they handled the end of that half, and that moment is one of the things that sort of falls into the category of us, okay, it wasn't a perfect game, as you just mentioned. Was not their A game necessarily. I think, coaching staff and players alike. But it didn't matter because he was so damn good. He's ridiculously accurate, and I love the poise in the pocket. The in the pocket and extending and keeping your eyes down the field to find chunk gains. He looks like he's already got that thing.
Some of these angles from the great camera work, they have the double overhead camera on Amazon. I don't know if people know this. When Amazon does the games, they don't have just one sky cam. They have 2 that are zooming around. You see some of the angles on the throws and how they're captured from Drake May, including one to Hunter Henry. Whew. This is beautiful, man.
On the money.
Yeah.
Understands where to go with it. Zone coverage, man coverage, blitz. You drop a bunch of bodies into coverage, into the secondary. Opposing defenses just continue to not have answers, which is one of the most surprising things to me. And I'm not surprised because, I feel as though Drake May is due to come back to earth. I think he's this good. I just am stunned that there's nobody defensively who said, well, what if we try this? He won't have an answer for this because he's had an answer for everything so far, which is a little scary. To be where you're at right now, at this point in your career, and have the answers at 23 years old, it's wild.
Jets, Patriots, last night at Gillette. We continue to react to that. Tell me your thoughts on the way the defense played in this game, Phil.
These early game lapses are just continuously confounding. Last night in particular, and Vrabel spoke to this, it was really about the quarterback, and he was faster than a lot of the guys we had on the field. And that actually is something that I think as we sort of spin it forward, I'm not sure how much you can really take away from any of these Thursday night games, big picture, what it means for the team. But one thing I'm interested in is, are there teams now, because you're going to see some mobile quarterbacks moving forward. Obviously, you saw Josh Allen once already. You're going to see him again. You're going to see Lamar Jackson. Do teams look at this Patriots defense and specifically what happened with the quarterback run game and say to themselves, there might be something there? Because this Patriots defense is pretty good at, generally speaking, at keeping teams out of the end zone, except for early in games. And they're pretty good against the run. But damn, Justin Fields had a night as a runner. I think he averaged 6 yards per carry. Had that touchdown run where he runs right around Harold Landry.
Couldn't stop him.
Couldn't stop him. Yeah. So, this rushing defense has been really good. Arguably the best in football all season long. But it felt like there was maybe a little bit of a hole in their game as far as the quarterback run game goes.
Yeah,
and it's the design quarterback runs.
Too. Yeah. I think Landry's a little banged up. I think he's playing through an ankle.
Yeah, he hasn't been on the injury report in a while, but he did have that ugly-looking ankle, lower leg injury. It's about a month or so ago now, maybe even more than that. Yeah. But he really hasn't had the same kind of impact that he had early in the season. Early in the season, he was getting to the quarterback pretty consistently. Yep. Thought he actually had a nice hit on Fields at one point during this game last night.
He did. Yeah, I remember that one.
But it just feels like he's just a little maybe a step slow these last few weeks.
Let's grab your calls with Phil Perry, 617-779-0985. Nick in Plymouth wants to hit on some concerns in the secondary from last night, maybe with Christian Gonzalez, who luckily was covering a player at times who had a little issue hanging on to the football.
Catching, yeah.
Yeah, catching the ball seemed to be a problem. Hi, Nick.
Hey, guys. It's very, very basic on that one. Mitchell dropped more balls than Gonzo deflected. But also, what's going to happen when we start playing some of the other teams that have a good, solid wide receiver, too? Like when you have Higgins and Chase.
We'll see it next week. We'll see it next week, baby.
You have Davis, who's not playing to his contract, and you have Higgins, who's a lot taller. And if they start putting him in the slot like they did with Drake London, I love Marcus Jones, but he's not going to be able to face people 6-7 inches taller than him.
Yeah, it'd be hard to defend.
I think you've got to be willing to move those guys around and play those guys in the slot too. Now I know that opens you up maybe to having some soft spots in your run defense, like if you've got Gonzalez or Carlton Davis playing on the interior like that. But in obvious passing situations, you've got to be willing to move those guys around. And we'll see. I wonder with Gonzalez, like Zoe, do you think there's any part of him where he'll get up, quote unquote, a little bit more for a game against Cincinnati than he would against A.D. Mitchell and Justin Fields?
Yeah, the great ones do. Yeah.
So, that was a great, as bad as he is at quarterback, Justin Fields.
It's a hell of a throw.
That was a great throw down the field, the first drop that Mitchell had.
On the left
just
sideline.
Right in the bucket, along the sideline, perfect spot. And that guy's got all sorts of physical ability. It's just he seems to be lacking the most important physical ability to play the wide receiver position. A.D. Mitchell
does make it more difficult. Yeah,
you're playing receive. You have to be able to receive the football. Generally speaking,
that's usually one of the things in the job description, right?
What do I know? Just a doctor.
Mark in Connecticut. Hey, Mark.
Hey, happy Victory Friday, guys.
Woo! Yeah.
Phil, love you, brother.
Love you,
I got to say, Kyle Williams, I was a big fan of him. Last night, he did not do himself any favors, and Kayshon Boutte is coming back after this 10-day off. That's what I'm saying, because that is Drake May's guy, Kayshon Boutte, and I love him, and can't wait to get him back on that field and get that connection back, guys. Thanks.
It is pretty remarkable that May's been as good as he's been without one of his most dependable pass catchers out there. And it's like Mac Hollins comes in and they don't skip a beat.
Mac Hollins has played great.
He's played tremendously.
Now imagine if the balls to Kyle Williams were to Boutte last night. How good Drake would have been. That's the difference. What is going on there, Phil? They're not even anywhere near the same page.
Chemistry, reps. We talked about this.
It's got to be a feel, confidence, yeah.
Last week, and I think it was last week, right? The games, this Thursday night game has me all screwed up, but I think I told you guys
4 days ago he caught a ball, ran really fast.
He had more reps in practice with Drake May, and I said, I'm not predicting a breakout, but if there's a little bit of a breakout, this might be the week for it because Boutte's been out. It's allowed Williams to practice more with the top group. It's allowed him to focus on one position. That should help. He ends up making one play, but it's one massive play. Mm-hmm. Now you have another week, but it's a short week. You don't really practice. It's, establishing that chemistry in the way that it needs to be established between those two guys. They clearly haven't done that. I'm still not giving up on him, period. I think the first target, did he not run behind the defense? Mm-hmm. He got a step deep down the field.
Oh, he had him deep.
That throw was kind of hanging up there. It was probably his worst throw of the game, Drake Mays.
I agree. I said he should throw it out in front of him and away from the defender. Let him go get it. Let him kick into that next gear.
Yeah, put it a little bit more on a line is the one thing that popped into my head first and foremost. He had such a great night. He was so accurate. It's hard to nitpick, but he does have speed, so you got to try to leverage that.